Welcome back. We're here for part four,
Yes.
now of Leilah's journey to opening a store all the way 31 years ago.
Yeah.
We're celebrating this Saturday 31 years in business. We have our big celebration. Everything's 20% off that has our name on it. And what else? We'll have a big party, all kinds of goodies and raffles if you can make it in. If not, the sale is also online. So
It'll be fun.
let's continue.
Okay.
Let's continue. Okay, so we've opened the store. You're working 10 to 9 every day.
I ordered my products.
You ordered your products. Okay, so what now? It's time to open. How do you know? This is something I struggled with when I opened my shop. How do you know when it's time to open your doors?
You're never ready. It's a big day. It's
a
big day, but it just happens. So they call it, as I was told, we have a soft opening. So basically you have everything is beautiful, it's dusted, and it's all filled with wonderful products.
Yes.
And then you open the door a little bit, and then somebody comes, are you open? And say, yes, we are. And so that's called a soft opening.
Yes.
And then on September the 22nd, we had the big opening.
Grand
The
opening.
grand opening, yes.
Yes.
And that was just, I remember the sun was shining right onto the store, and I said, yay, I think it's gonna be really good.
Nice.
And it was really busy, and I remember 300 square feet, so most of it was outside. I had a door, and I had French doors,
Yes.
and they were all open, and people were outside and having tea. It was just a wonderful day, and I remember it was just a very successful day. I think we made like $1,500 on that day. I said, wow, this is really fantastic.
In 1992, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
A very big deal.
those people thinking that I'll be out of business in 6 months.
Yes, and so here we are. I guess that would be 62 times
Yes.
what they thought, huh?
Yeah.
So you had your grand opening. It was very successful.
Yes.
And then it was just regular business, right?
Yes, and then all of a sudden, my shelves, they were all nicely stocked up. There was a hole there, there's something missing there. And I said, oh my gosh, we sold all this. I need to reorder. So incidentally, I want to tell you also something very interesting, because how expensive everything is. That first order, it was 120 herbs with the jars and everything. I think my bill was $2,400. $2,400, including golden seal echinacea, all those expensive
OSHA.
herbs. Oh yeah, OSHA, yeah. Yeah, so Natalie wish we're back to those days.
I'm drooling.
Yes. Yeah.
With those ideas.
Like a pound of chamomile was, I don't know, maybe $2, $2.50.
Wow.
And now it's, I don't know, I didn't want to ask you.
Yeah. 10 times that.
Yeah.
More than 10 times that, actually.
Yeah, especially, certified organic. Sometimes people say, I remember people would come. Actually, I have a few stories about chamomile. The first one was when people come in, is where did I land? What is this place? I remember in the grand opening, and you were like little like that.
I was 10.
Yes, and they said, what's this chamomile for? What is the chamomile for? And you were a little girl, and you said, you mean chamomile? And I said, yes, and so you were explaining what chamomile is good for, and it was easy for grown-ups to talk to a child, because they felt very uncomfortable talking to an adult, and it's not chamomile, it's chamomile. But they were okay with children, so that you were wonderful, bringing people to the herbs in a very
Gentle way.
innocent way.
Innocent.
Yeah. So that was that one story, and then the other one, oh yes, somebody came in, your chamomile is $2.50 an ounce? And they said, we have the other one for 75 cents. It's not organic, and we don't know where it grew. So people say, oh, okay, there's a difference between certified organic, or basically organic means that it grew without the chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
And that was always very important to me, the high quality herbs.
Yes.
Because it's the high quality herbs that are freshly dried,
Yep.
that will, affect your health. It will affect your situation, and not, just some random herb that grew somewhere.
Well, we have like 12 vendors or so that we buy herbs from, give or take.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Some 10, 12, something like that. I'd have to go look exactly.
Yeah.
But you learn with time like let's use Frontier as an example. They have the most beautiful dandelion.
Yes.
It's bright green. However, like a different company, their calendula only comes whole, and that's very hard to work with. I only want the petals.
Yes.
And so then I have to order from so and so this, or the cut of this licorice is so fine it goes right through the tea strainer.
Mm-hmm.
So you learn more than just like if it's organic or not organic
Mm-hmm.
or wild harvest. You learn like this company has better this than this company,
Yes.
and that's something you only get with time.
Yes.
And
with
yeah.
time, sometimes placing order and say, I don't want calendula looking like that because it's this big middle part that you can't really use.
Yeah.
And
Even though maybe it's less expensive.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that I learned from you, that it's not always about the money, it's about the quality.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
and it's,
Exactly.
and that's why we have kind of strange prices, you know.
Yes.
I never, and you taught me that too, look at other companies
Mm-hmm.
and say like, oh, what are they selling it for? I just say like, okay, this is what we have to make to keep the lights on and keep Nina paid well.
Yes, right.
And so this is what we have to charge for that.
Mhm.
And so I never make a sacrifice
Mm-hmm.
or a compromise.
Yes.
And so I thought that was always a very, what's the right word? Honorable quality about the way that you did business. It's about the quality of it, not just the quantity.
Yes, because
price.
that takes me back to, when I was 17 and I was diagnosed with leukemia.
Yeah.
And my grandma saved my life.
Yeah.
They gave me 6 months to live. They told my parents, I'll have 6 months to live.
There was a special doctor in Switzerland, right?
Yes, he was specializing in blood diseases. So he
Leukemia.
so they did all the tests and he diagnosed me with having leukemia. And my mom was so upset. I remember she told me she went home the wrong direction. She got lost somewhere in Zurich or I don't know where. And so it was, anyway, make a long story short, my grandma said, oh, you're too young to die. And we're just going to go and see this herb doctor. He was an herbalist.
What's that word in Swiss?
The Grüterma.
And so what does that translate to?
That's herb
guy?
Herb guy. Yeah, herb guy.
Okay.
Herb guy. And the interesting thing is he did iridology.
Mm-hmm.
So he had this big equipment on his kitchen table. We were at his house. I had to put my chin into this thing.
Yeah.
And he was looking at my eyes, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, he's looking into my soul.
Wow.
He's going to know all the bad things I did. But it was none of that. He was reading the iris of the eyes.
Iridology.
Yeah, iridology, which is a science and an art also. And he confirmed to my grandma, because she was the instigator.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, okay, tell me what's wrong with her. And then he said, she has a blood disease. And then my grandma, okay, we're right online. And, so she got herbs from him. He would go in the garden and freshly pick them, or he had extracts and he would bring it to us. And well, lo and behold, I'm still here.
You are still here, thank goodness, right? And you also had like IVs, right? Vitamin IVs.
Yeah,
and
yes.
So now we're talking 1960 something.
Yeah. 1967, 66.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a long time ago for them to do a vitamin IV. That's something probably very special for his profession, right?
Yeah. I had a new doctor, so newly graduated doctor, so they like to do things a little differently sometimes.
Nice.
And I was very grateful that he knew a little bit about, like more natural things,
Mm-hmm.
because my grandma was watching over him. So 3 times a week I would go for a vitamin, and I don't know. I mean, in Europe, you don't ask a doctor, what are you giving me?
Or at least in that age.
In those days,
times,
yeah, because he was the one that's going to save your life, so
Yeah.
you're not going to question.
Mm.
And so I'm still here. So I always go back to that time, because it's the high quality herb. I mean, straight from his garden.
Yeah.
The Grüterma, from his garden, and not some obscure thing in a nicely labeled bottle.
Yeah, packaging is not everything, is it?
Mm-mm. So I just feel so grateful that my grandma taught me about the healing properties of herbs, and how she was there for me. And I would I think she's up there watching me, so I could never put something in a jar that wouldn't be exactly what my grandma would like.
Oh, you have ethics and morals, and
Yeah.
we don't do that. Yeah, we don't cut corners.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
no.
your grandmother was an herbalist. You're
She
an
was an
herbalist.
herbalist, yes.
I'm an herbalist.
Yeah, my grandfather was a pharmacist,
Okay.
but he knew the natural ways.
Well, like you said, in Switzerland, it's very different, right?
Yes.
So, like maybe the doctor would prescribe an antibiotic for urinary infection plus, like Uversi or something.
Yes, he would
or
prescribe because urinary tract infection. They like to come back
Mhm.
because there's always a little residue left, and so if you take the antibiotic, I mean, I'm not a doctor, so please, but in those days, we were told that if you're going to be a customer comes in or a patient comes in. When they have a urinary tract infection, we'll give the antibiotic or whatever we had in those days,
Mhm.
plus the tea. So when you take those two together, then when you're done with your antibiotic, then the chances of the urinary tract infection coming back is lessened.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So you said that you trained in Switzerland, right? So what is your official title from Switzerland?
Apothekenhelferin, or actually they call it differently now. What do they call it?
But that was at that time. That's what
At
they
that
called
time,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm the helper to the pharmacist. That's basically how it translates.
Okay.
But of course, they have a more fancy word because who wants to be a helper to a pharmacist? But we had a lot of responsibilities. During the whole 4 years, we trained under a pharmacist, so you actually worked under him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was 3 or 4 days in community college, specifically for Apothekenhelferin. So we learned.
So it's like a trade school.
Yes, because
where you learn on the job.
Yes, because in my days, people will go to the pharmacy first if they had a problem, and then a pharmacist, us, would not prescribe, but we would talk about, I take this and do that, and then go home, and then come back if it doesn't feel better, and then they would come back, and then we would try something else, and then eventually we would decide, it's time for you to call the doctor. So of course you never call a doctor. Those days, now things may be different, but you never call the doctor because you don't want to burden him with your little problems. So you go to the pharmacist, and when a pharmacist decides, or we decide that now it's time to go see the doctor, then we would make the call to the doctor. And we'd say, we'll talk to the nurse, we tried this, and we tried that, and everything, and so then you have an appointment. Because healthcare is very different in Switzerland.
It's socialized medicine as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you don't pay for...
We pay a little bit.
A little bit.
But usually to discourage people from going to the emergency, the first fee, the first appointment is very high. But then I think everything after that is free.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. Don't take my word, but I remember not having to pay.
Or it used to be like that. Things change.
Things change,
of course.
yeah.
So, but in your time.
Yeah, the emergency room is specifically for people that are in an emergency, and having a sore throat, in my opinion, it's not an emergency. You try different things. There are a lot of natural remedies.
Yeah. Very
anyway,
good.
So that's in 1992.
We're back to 92.
92, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So meet us again for part 5.
Oh my goodness.
And we'll tell some more stories.
Yes.
Okay. See you tomorrow.